Samuel awoke to silence. Cold stone pressed against his back, the air thick with damp rot. He sat up, heart pounding, his eyes adjusting to the dim glow of the lighthouse beacon. But something was wrong. The lantern room was the same, yet it wasn't. The glass panes were cracked, streaked with black veins that pulsed like something alive. The air was heavier, the shadows darker, stretching unnaturally along the walls. The storm outside was gone, replaced by a sky of swirling gray void. Samuel's stomach lurched as realization dawned. He was no longer in the world he knew. A soft shuffle echoed behind him. He turned sharply. Arthur Holloway stood near the edge of the lantern room. His form was gaunt, his skin sickly pale, as if drained of life. His eyes were wide, hollow pits, his lips moving in silent mutterings. "Arthur," Samuel breathed. My name is Samuel." Arthur's head twitched toward him, his mouth trembling before he finally spoke. "I told you not to follow." Samuel swallowed, his mind racing. Where are we? Arthur's gaze flickered toward the beacon. Between. Samuel turned toward the light. It no longer spun in rhythmic circles, but pulsed, irregular and feverish, casting warped shadows across the room. Then, movement. Beyond the cracked glass, the darkness stirred. Figures drifted through the void, their forms flickering like candlelight. Twisted, emaciated things with hollow eyes and stretched mouths pressed against the panes, their fingers tapping, testing, the barrier. The sound was rhythmic, a slow, deliberate drumming. "They wait," Arthur whispered. Samuel took a step back, every nerve screaming at him to move. "For what?" Arthur's expression darkened. "For us." The first crack split through the glass with a sharp snap. The shadows outside surged forward. Samuel's instinct screamed run, but there was nowhere to go. He turned back to Arthur, desperation rising. "How do we get out?" Arthur hesitated. Then, barely above a whisper, he said, "The light brought us here. The light must take us back." Samuel's gaze snapped to the beacon. It was still turning, dimming, its glow flickering like a dying flame. A second crack splintered through the glass. Samuel lunged forward, hands gripping the beacon's controls. The air crackled with static as he forced the light to burn brighter, the bulb whining under the strain. The shadows screeched. The figures outside recoiled, their twisted mouths gaping in agony. The glass vibrated violently as if reality itself were trembling. Arthur cried out, doubling over as if in pain. His skin darkened, his form flickering. "Samuel!" His voice distorted, warping between his and something else. Samuel's stomach dropped. The lighthouse had held him too long. Arthur was no longer whole. Samuel clenched his jaw, his fingers tightening on the controls. The light surged, flooding the room in a blinding white glow. The world split apart. A deafening roar filled his ears, and then silence. Samuel gasped, his body slamming onto cold wooden planks. He choked in ragged breaths. He was back. The hollow watcher loomed before him, its beacon glowing faintly in the mist. But something was different. The cracks in the glass were gone. The shadows had receded. The air felt lighter. He sat up, his pulse still hammering. But as relief washed over him, a creeping realization settled in. The lantern room was empty. Arthur Holloway was gone. And the reflection in the beacon's glass? It wasn't his.